now that in the last couple weeks have been fantastic, and we really like him. He is athletic and a guy that is figuring things out. Tremendous student. So he's taking care of business, done a great job. Rathan is, I think he just turned 25, Zach, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Rathan, when he's done, is going to be on staff. All right. So the oldest, yeah, a lot of experience. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, he and Tom Brady, right in that mode right there. But Rathan's a little different. Rathan's a guy, he can run a little bit, he can spin it, smart, mature, and has done a really good job. LDS mission, and then went to junior college, and then came here. So we got him for a couple years. And with Tommy, when Tommy decided to leave, we had an answer. Coach Hill had that in place. You never know. Quarterbacks it's kind of a different world now. These guys, sometimes they're not playing. They're going to pick up and decide to go somewhere else. So we're glad we got Rathan here. Zach, we got Coach Huff in here yet? Not yet. Okay. All right. Zach Troughton, Butte Community College. You guys remember Robbie Snelling that played tight end here? I know Bart does. So Robbie Snelling is now the head coach at Butte Community College. And this is where Zach came from, and we've actually got a few guys out of there over the years. So he's a great resource and connection to have there. And Zach's a big old dude now that is getting in shape. It's a little bit different coming from junior college to this level. So he's working at it, but getting stronger, getting better, and certainly going to help us out this next season. And then Michael Young, junior college. Michael's a guy that just hasn't worked like we work, but he is talented, and he will do whatever he's asked to do. If he struggles, he'll jump right back in there and do it again. If he can't make it through a workout, he's going to find a way to get it done. Never pulls himself out, never quits, and is extremely, extremely athletic. So he's the guy that's going to come in and play corner, probably in the boundary, help us right away. So having him here right now is really, really important. These other guys down here, we'll let some of these guys talk about it. Ash, Germany Brown. Yeah, let me say this too. So Germany from Virginia, all right, which is a long trip. I'll just tell you that's a long flight. It's a long trip. We were there on Sunday night, and we got there and we started talking. We kind of got into our deal a little bit, and he was watching. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Now You See Me. It's a magic movie. So Now You See Me 2 was on, and we all kept kind of going back to it, and pretty soon it was like we just turned the volume up, and for about an hour we sat there and just watched the end of it, didn't we? And that was it. All right, it was just hanging out. It was very casual. He enjoyed that, and he's a guy that, a lot of schools were coming in late on him, and Ash did a tremendous job of getting this guy. So maybe a little something about Germany.
Well, I talked to a lot of you guys already, just was saying, Germany and I kind of developed a relationship because he was over at Calabasas in LA area, and he had to move because his family moved because of a job situation. And that's the thing about it, you have to be persistent when you're with these recruits because you just never know. Germany is just a phenomenal athlete, plays both ways, and he's a returner, and he has a great personality. And we've developed a good bond, and I'm excited for us Broncos here to grab a kid like that, because he's going to be a very talented football player for us, and an extremely good student for us.
He looked good today. He FaceTimed us, had all his Bronco gear on, at school, haircut, looked good. He was proud. I know his mom was very proud as well, and his dad, and certainly excited to get him here. He is a very good athlete, very nice young man, and excited to be here. We got Coach Huff here. How about our old lineman? We got our newest one up there.
Yeah, we got 3 of them.
Yes. How about a little of the O-line? We'll taste the O-line.
Yeah. Really excited about this class. Start with the guys that are already here. John Ojukwu from Boise High. Had him in camp. He was awesome there. He's got a little bit of a crazy story. I think he had gained something like 50 pounds and grew 4 inches since his junior year to his senior summer. Came to like I said, he came to our camp and did a great job there. And so far he's done a great job with Coach Pitt in the workouts. And so we feel like he's got a bright future. He's 6'6" kid, 285 pounds. He's going to be huge. Going to be really big. Going to be a really big kid, a wrestler. The other kid, Zach Troughton from Butte College. Some of you guys might remember the name Robbie Snelling. He's now the head coach at Butte College. So Zach is a guy that he's another monster. He's about 6'6". I think he's 320 pounds right now. Getting in shape with Coach Pitt. He played tackle at the junior college at Butte. He's a guy that we think we can really play inside as a guard center. Really excited about him because his football IQ, he has caught on extremely fast, and feel like he's a guy that can come in and make an immediate impact for us. So really excited about both those guys that are here now. And the big one that we just got today, Isaiah Moore from Mesa Community College. So he'll be our third guy from Mesa with Daniel Awalua, Rathan Reisdorf, and now Isaiah. Isaiah might be one of the highest recruited guys that we've ever signed here, and he made us work. He made us work really hard. He's been committed since the summer, and then his recruitment really blew up just in the last probably 6 weeks or so. I think depending on the service that you look at, I don't think we're allowed to comment on services, but he's a top 25 junior college player. I think he might have been the #1 ranked guard in junior college. He should play tackle for us. 6'4", 6'5", 285 pounds right now. He's been 320 pounds. He looks good right now, and really excited about him. Thing that you'll like the most about Isaiah? Oh, yes.
There we go.
Big one.
That's a big one.
That's a real big one
Right
right
there.
there.
There was a few late phone calls last night with, not from us, we've been working on him for a while, but a few other schools, so that was really good. Fired up to have Highland High School here representing, huh?
Yeah, well, we'll probably get Coach Caldwell if they're talking about that. Anyways, we like our class hold on.
All right, newest member up there, Isa, Coach Caldwell.
Well, it's been a trip.
Yeah.
We actually, as most of you know, we got him committed last summer. And then, I guess, about a month and a half ago, he flipped and was going to Washington State. And then a week later, we got him back. And then last night, he got an offer from USC, so we've been battling that until about 2 minutes ago. So we're very fortunate. We think he's going to be a good player for us. It was like last year, like we had 4 of them. They came back on last year, so I didn't think we were going to have to worry about this one last night. We're still battling on one more, but he ended up doing what he said he was going to do. He said this was his family and he wanted to be a part of it, and so we're dang well excited about it. Thank you.
Hey, and so those meetings now, there's a few emotional meetings that we've had this year, that being one of them, and in a good way. You know, when Isa came back and committed, decommitted, recommitted, all that, you know, kind of how he approached the second time around and what he said in the meeting. Very stand-up young man, able to look you in the eye, and not many 17-year-olds could probably say what he said after the situation we had been in. This is where I want to be, and again last night, kind of getting some more options thrown at him and still staying strong. And you see that with these kids, they'll put out there, you know, offered by so-and-so, and then, you know, it's obviously exciting. We all get excited about that being wanted, and then you realize what's the best place for me. And he certainly did that. And, you know, here's a local kid that's a really good player that Coach Caldwell, Coach Avalos, a lot of guys on the staff did a great job. I mean, Coach Caldwell, I don't know how many times drove to Pocatello or from Utah through Pocatello. You guys that may have noticed we've had a few inches of snow around here, all right? And through that, okay, and 2-wheel drive rental cars because they wouldn't give him a 4-wheel drive. So there's a lot of good stories for him to get there. And certainly we went and visited Isa. We thought everything was good, and then things changed, and now we're back. So really, really good story right there. And this guy is a beast. He's going to be a really good player for us when it's all said and done. Braden, talk about him, Andy.
Yeah.
feel like I need one of these right here. You did right. Yeah. You rolled in. You didn't come with a 12 ounce. I'm over there. You can bottle that right now too. I've had enough of my coffee this morning. I got to switch it up. So Braden Boyd, we've been on Braden for some time here. He's made a bunch of unofficial visits and stuff, and been able to hang out with him here on campus a bunch. But he's a long, rangy linebacker that has good instincts in the box. Also a very good blitzer, which we want to do more of from the linebacker position. He's a guy that we could use inside, we could use on the edge. And so he comes from Katy, Texas, which is Katy High School has been very, very successful, winning a state championship and contending every single year. So here's a guy that comes from a great pedigree in terms of work ethic and knowing how to work and how to be a leader and all that stuff. So we're excited about him having the opportunity to come in here and compete right away. Can't wait to get him here this summer. Okay. Yeah, and we'll. Yes, sir.
Davis.
That's it.
I got him.
Good. We got him?
Yeah.
Good to go? All right. Okay. Ush, did you want to come talk to these people and work off some of that nervous energy you got going on there? It's fine. It's fine. Go about what you're doing here. This guy hasn't slept in 6 months. Braden Boyd. So we went to visit him. Just so you guys know, he's from Katy, Texas, linebacker, and he and his brother, when we first got there, the first thing they wanted to show me was their knife collection. So we got to see all the kills they had in the house and all that. We got to see their exotic knife collection that he's got. So he's safe, I can tell you that. He's a linebacker mentality now. All right, and an awesome kid, great family, wonderful family. Been committed for a long time now, and has been solid, and probably one of our best recruiters as well. You know, somebody that would, they kind of know who we're recruiting and all that. You just see him start to try to build relationships with guys that we're on. Got another one? Yep. Got it?
Plays right into Cartrell.
Yes, it does. All right. Another wide receiver in the boat right there, which is good. Big old dude. Speaking of that, Coach Keesaw, how about the wideouts? And
sorry, I just walked in. Have we done
that's
truck
perfect.
yet?
Yep, it's perfect. This is exactly what we want.
Okay.
This is Eric Keesaw, our new wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
A little bit about Keith. So, Keith and I, we've kind of known each other for a while. We talked a little bit last year, and then this year when things shook out, an opportunity for him to come here. Excellent teacher, and does an extremely good job with his relationships with the players. Has been in some great places, knows a lot of these guys on staff right here. And, when our guys, we hired a new wide receiver coach, and the first thing he's doing is recruiting. So your players here, they want to get to meet him and be around him and all that. And, Julian Carter had a little shoulder surgery earlier in the year. And I was talking to him. He's like, well, Coach, he came in here, and I don't think he knew about my shoulder. I'm like, he didn't. He was here for 2 days and on the road, out recruiting. So he's just been doing that. He's getting caught up now with the players, getting a chance to be around them, meeting with those wideouts a little bit, building that relationship, figuring out, all right, what makes them tick, and has done a great job up and running in a hurry, which is fantastic. But recruiting-wise, hey, same thing. We kind of are on these guys, and when Keith came in, it was like, here you go. And go do your job, and that's exactly what he did.
Cartrell Thomas, he is about, I'd say 5'10", 165 pounds, and I think the one thing you'll notice right when you either watch the video or if you meet him in person or see him on the field, he is an extreme competitor. His competitive nature just comes out in everything he does, and that's one of the most important things when you're recruiting any position, but obviously the receiver position is important too. It really just kind of comes through his whole personality and persona, and that's what you want. And he's an electric player. He's got a lot of speed. He overcomes his size just by his mental makeup and the approach he takes to the game. He was also a corner. He played both ways. He's very athletic. Got another receiver on their team, a very highly recruited guy. Coach Harsin went to the game and he said, every ball was going to Cartrell, every ball was going to CT. And that's a big compliment when you're talking about some guys on your team, where the ball goes and who they think their playmakers are to get the ball to them. So, and he comes from a very competitive league in Lancaster, Texas. They do a great job. They play at a high level. This kid can come in and play and try to help us early, just because where he came from, his preparation all the way through high school to get ready to play college. And he'll do a great job for us. Really excited to get him and really just kind of build that culture of competition within our room. I think he'll do a great job. It's almost like he wants to prove everybody wrong, because you don't think, oh, he's only 5'10", 165 pounds. Well, he'll be 5'10", he'll be 185 in a couple of years, and this kid's going to be an electric player for us, and hopefully return some kicks and help us in all aspects of Bronco football. So very excited to have him, and I really can't wait to get my arms around him and get him here in the program and start working.
You know, one thing along those lines too, so when we had the wide receiver, when Coach Adams left, obviously you don't have somebody hired right away. So Coach Riddle, Coach Hill, really everybody on staff, and Coach Ridd and Coach Hill, those guys took it over. And that's really proud of those guys, because how they jumped right on it. And you're not quite sure when you have a receiver you really like, and you got your other coaches, you build relationships with them. Chris Ross, who was with us as well, immediately on it. And so when we're recruiting, we're doing it as a staff. That way, if something like that happens, you got more connections all together. So those guys did a tremendous job. And at the game I went to, you know, it was a playoff game. They lost the game, but yeah, he did. You know, there's 3 touchdowns in that game by Lancaster. He scored all 3 of them. And you know, the other guy is very impressive, but you could see that Cartrell was the playmaker, and they actually played him at corner that game. Did not want to come off the field. Kind of threw a little bit of a fit to come off the field, because he wants to be out there, which is a good thing. He can return and do a lot of different things. But Coach Keys did a great job, but the rest of the staff, everybody, Gabe, all these guys that were in Texas, they jumped right back on and built that relationship, kept him committed until we could get our wide receiver coach in the boat. Newest one.
Octavius Evans.
Yes.
He is a 6'3", 195-pound, very, very athletic. He also plays basketball. He's actually in Center, Texas, which is a long way to drive. You have to fly to Shreveport, we drive about an hour south, about 45 minutes hour south, to a very, very small town.
Can I have something? Anybody ever been to Center, Texas? Max, I know. Max, you've been everywhere. All right. I didn't know you were in here. So, that was bad on my part right there. All right. Well, that was the first time. That was the first time there. So go ahead.
So went to Center, Texas, and went out there, and really just, he's kind of an intriguing young man. Just the more you spend time with him, the more you're around him, you're around his family. He's just a very, very humble, hardworking, you know, blue collar. He'll fit in this program great. He's a great student. He got like a 3.2 GPA, 1200 test score, and he's just a really, really. He'll walk in this room and he'll be like, wow, that's a freshman. He just looks the part right now. He's a big, strong, physical kid. Go up and get the ball. You know, I think in one game last year he had 16 catches in one game. Over his career, he had 250 catches for I think 3,300 yards. So he was averaging 75 balls a year from his freshman year. So he's done it. He's played at the high level. He's had a lot of production in high school, and that will obviously translate when he gets here. But just a great young man. You'll love this kid. Just kind of a quiet manner. Kind of does his business. Yes sir, no sir. Very respectful. Almost like he enjoys being around people and around the culture. And I think for him it was more about the right fit and the comfort level of the people he's around, the staff. That kind of made him feel really good about committing to Boise State, because you're coming from Center, Texas, and now you're coming up to Boise. It's a big jump, and there was a lot of leap of faith in the men around him. He had a great visit. The whole staff did a great job making him and his family feel comfortable. But he's going to be a big-time player for us. He's got to come in and work and get it, but the structure's there, and his body type is there, and we'll get him right. But he'll keep my fingers crossed. He could be another special one in this class down the road. Really look forward to coaching him as well.
He saw the snow here. He was a little nervous, so we took him to Bogus and went sledding. Then he loved it. So we embraced the snow out there in the field, and they were all good after that, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, first time he'd ever done that.
Yep.
So new experiences, and like he said, you know, very interesting how you find these guys. And Texas has been good to us. Loves football, absolutely loves football, and has done well academically. So excited to get him in there. How about the quarterback, Zach?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chase Cord, really, really, really excited about this kid. He's one of those guys that we were on early, and actually, you know, thinking through last year on this day, was on the phone with him, talking to him about Boise State, and having some great dialogue with him and his family. So his recruiting goes way back, and obviously built a great relationship with him and his family. You know, he's one of those guys that's been committed to us for a long time, and he's been 100% committed all the way through. Even last week when he's getting calls from Baylor and, you know, some other schools, you know, didn't even think about it. You know, and his parents were the same way. And he's one of those guys that's a humble kid. His demeanor comes across as one of those guys you want to be around. So he's going to fit our locker room. Our guys are going to absolutely love him, and he's got a huge upside. You know, going back a year, you know, he was just having an ACL surgery. So he played his whole junior year. Was a really an extremely highly recruited kid. You know, had a bunch of offers. You know, even as a junior. Then had an ACL surgery early in basketball. You know, we stuck with him all the way through that. You know, and helped him, supported him through that. You know, where some other schools ended up falling off. But he got healthy through the summer. Was able to play his whole senior year. Had a great senior year. You could tell he was still, you know, laboring on it a little bit and had some issues, but you know, overall it was awesome to see him play and have so much success. You know, he was the #1 passer in the state of Arizona. You know, set some records down there, which is big. There's a lot of quarterbacks that come out of Arizona now. So you know, he was the MVP of the Blue-Gray All-American game in Oakland. So again, this is a high-level kid, and I think we're going to look back and think about signing day and go, yes, thank God we got Chase Cord. Okay, so he's one of the, you know, again, he's a 6'3" quarterback, and he's got a huge upside. You know, he's only about 185 right now, but you know, when Coach Pitt gets a hold of him and you know, he's able to be in our strength program and get the food that he does, nutrition, he's going to be a big kid. You know, NFL type body. He's got a big arm. He can throw it and make all the plays from the pocket. But the nice thing is he can really get out now and run. I mean, he ran for over 1,000 yards as a junior. Not as much as a senior because, again, of the knee, and his head coach didn't want to run him as much, try to protect him a little bit. But he can run. He can escape pressure, and you know, is one of those guys that can make a defense, you know, pay. Even if the play doesn't work, he can kind of find ways to make it work. So. He's got a lot of upside. He's an accurate kid, but really what came across in recruiting with him was his demeanor and just his humble nature, you know, and even through that ACL surgery, he did a good job with his team. You know, he was working youth camps. He was helping his backup quarterback getting ready for the season. You know, I heard, you know, a ton of stories from his parents and also his head coach, you know, about how, you know, much of a leader he was even through some tough times. And those are the type of guys we want on campus. So, again, really excited about Chase, and he'll be an awesome addition to our program.
Yeah, he's a stud. The other thing, too, with these quarterbacks now, you got Rhett here, you got Rayton here, and this guy didn't flinch. It's not always like that. You know, some guys, the quarterback, they kind of look at that, and they all want to know they're the guy coming in, and, you know, he's just like, hey, do I get a chance to compete? Yep. That's all I want. And when you go into his room, so I went to his house, that was the last visit. The very last visit I had was with him to make sure we got him, all right, which he was locked up. But going to his bedroom, we write these guys letters all the time, so they got, you know, hundreds of letters. Well, he's got them all pinned up around his room. So his wall, I mean, you walk in and, you know, it's kind of a wall right here. You walk in, his bed's right over here. This whole wall is covered in these letters. Then you look up along the ceiling, there's every letter neatly placed, perfectly placed, all the way around the room. And so you walk in there, I'm like, all right, we're good. You know, otherwise he's gonna have to take all this down. So, but you know, that doesn't happen very often. And the relationship Coach Hill built with him, all the staff, you know, he came up here a couple times. And so we had a chance to be around him, but you know, that's your quarterback. That's the type of guy you want. Hey, I just want to compete. I'm all in. Along with Braden, now he was hitting everybody up and was connecting with those guys. So really excited about him. Fantastic family. I got a chance to go see him during the season. I got a chance to watch him play. Did a great job. Is a tough kid. Didn't quite have the best protection at all times. And you know, one of the number one things we talk about with quarterbacks is toughness. And he's throwing it and taking it right in the ribs and getting up and doing it again. And that's kind of him. He'll do that over and over and over. He's a tough kid. He understands his role as a quarterback now too. And you got to pop back up and lead. So excited for him. I know he is as well. And his high school coach there, everybody was fantastic. Because there was a lot of guys, once we got on him, especially quarterback, and we were on him early, there's a lot of attention at that position, and these guys get a lot of noise, and the coaches did a great job of helping us, and his parents too, to make sure that he didn't get confused in this process. So far, very good. Strong, waiting on a couple. Hopefully we'll get those in here soon, and a few others that we're waiting on this afternoon before we announce them. But right now, with the guys we have on campus and the guys we got coming in, feeling very good about our depth. Obviously, D-line was not a huge area. Sonatane Louis, who walked on last spring. So here's a guy who played for us and started for us this year. He walked on last spring, came in with the opportunity to earn a scholarship if he could play. Well, he started for us, so we put him on scholarship. And so that took that D-line position that we were looking at. We had a guy right here on campus that we wanted to put on. If you go back and think about Leighton Vander Esch, all right, Leighton walked on. Leighton might be one of our best players on the team. And so there's a few of those guys out there too. Sometimes these stars and all those things don't really matter that much. You can ask Matt Paradis on that. But it's been exciting. So we've taken care of a few guys that are on the team right now, and then we'll finish up this class here today and get a chance to brag on these guys. But our needs, we're going to probably have a couple left over, which is great. That can be used towards one of our players that earns it, or some of these late guys. There's always going to be late guys too that pop. So if there's a skilled player or another guy at a position of need, or just a great player that we're not going to pass up on, that is late, didn't sign for whatever reason. And I'll give you an example. We're talking with a couple kids, and you know, all of a sudden at the end of last week, their recruiting just skyrockets. You know, offers start coming, needs need to be filled, and these guys all of a sudden are getting overwhelmed because they've had nothing going on this entire time. Well, they'll pump the brakes a little bit and just go, maybe I won't sign on signing day. I'm not ready. You can still take visits afterwards. You can still go see the school. You can still sign later on. So there's going to be a few of those guys as well that we know that probably won't sign, that we'll have a chance to still recruit, and we'll see where we're at that point. So, which is good. That's always been a good thing for us. And I go back, and Jeremy Avery, you guys remember Jeremy Avery? I think Jeremy we signed in May. So he was a guy that, he was an example of a late guy that, you know, we needed a position. I can't remember exactly what happened. Maybe we didn't get one, or we were going to take two at running back. And then Jeremy Avery was a guy we signed late. Ended up being a really good player for us. And we've had a few of those guys throughout the years here. So still waiting on a few more, but these guys did a tremendous job. They've been working their tails off. You wouldn't believe how many places they go, all right, in a week, and what they get done. It's pretty amazing to see the efficiency of how they work, how they get very little rest, get up in the morning, do it again, and every time, that's the one thing, you know, our energy is our calling card. So it's hard to walk in there and see a 17-year-old or his coach and just be dragging and like, hey, you interested or not? You got to have high energy. You got to show the emotion. You got to give them everything you got so they feel that from you. And these guys do a great job of it and have done it this entire time. So today is our Super Bowl. We're going to celebrate it. We're going to keep putting the names up here and then get these videos rocking and rolling. We got a team meeting at 9:30 with our guys to cover a few things, and on our way this afternoon to another press conference, then over to Big Al's and celebrate when we got everybody in and be able to tell a few more stories. But there's some good ones in here. We laugh about it, you know, like Isaiah Moore. I don't know, Coach Huff, if you told him the story, the entire story, but Coach Huff is a great recruiter, private eye as well, all right, stalker.
Stalker.
I think so. You name it. But he worked for Isaiah. You know, he worked unbelievably hard, and I know the last day you could be out on Friday before this last Friday, he's with him, and everything's going great. And he turns around for about 5 minutes to talk to one of their coaches there, and there's a whole nother staff from another team I won't mention that's right there grabbing him. And he's literally on the phone. He's like, they grabbed him. They just grabbed him. And I'm like, who grabbed him? And he tells me. And he hung out a little bit longer, and everything was good, right?
Yeah.
So
All's well that ends well.
yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. But he's about 2 hours away from getting on a flight, and he's just like, oh, should I stay? Should I stay here the whole time or come back? And we finally got him back. So these guys, they do a lot of work to build these relationships. There's a lot of funny stories like that that are stressful that we can laugh at right now. But it's amazing, you know, what it takes to make sure that these guys come to Boise State, because you guys know, you can imagine, go back to when you're 17, you know, you can flip your decision like that, and they hang on to them really well. So, any questions? Any questions you guys have on the guys we talked about? You bet.
Hey Bryan, maybe just kind of share with the group the talk about the change in the signing date and maybe how that affects
The
us
possible
going-
early signing?
Yeah, that's going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, so you guys have heard this for a while now. They're talking about early signing period, which would be in December. Now, they've talked about early signing that could actually happen, at one point it was August. You know, that was something a couple years ago they had talked about, which is a little bit crazy and hard for a lot of schools to determine what type of kid you're getting. You just don't know it. But December, they could pass the rule where you're able to sign these guys early, which if you can get them locked in December, now you're not worried about them going somewhere else, like we are this last week, or how we've been operating here for the last couple of weeks actually, which would be a good thing. Now, the other thing about that too, there's a positive side to it. If you're signing them, at least in our opinion, and we don't know this because we've never done it, but we've thought about it. You sign them, hey, you got them locked in, that's great. You don't need to see them any longer. They're coming to Boise State. Now, if you think you're going to sign them and they don't sign that day, now you're really stressed out, all right? Because what could happen there too is, hey, we're ready to sign, and somebody comes in before they know all the information on them, and they say, hey, don't sign yet, and you're expecting them to do that. So there's still probably, when it's all said and done, the same type of battles we're going to have to fight, because you know how the coaches are going to operate. Because maybe they don't want that kid to sign. They're going to tell them we don't have a spot yet, but we will. And probably for us, you know, you might have maybe 4 or 5 guys that do that, but that's 4 or 5 guys less than you have to worry about on this day. So I'm not sure how it's going to go, if they're going to pass that or not. We've been talking about it for a while. I feel like this year, though, it's got a lot more attention, and I think more coaches are ready to at least try it. It was like texting. We had this whole texting plan of what are we going to do, how's it going to work. Everybody's freaking out. Now we're going to be texting kids. They're going to be in school. We're going to get blown up. It's been absolutely fun. It's been way better than it's ever been recruiting. You don't have to actually talk to the kids as much, which is not a bad thing. It's just shoot them a text, let them know you love them. Hey, everything's going great. You get it back, so you're kind of actually saving yourself some time. It's more efficient. And I think this whole early signing, you know, it's going to be interesting, because there's some schools, and I remember some coaches that You know, they got to take time like we do academically to figure out, you know, that these guys are going to be successful, to give them time to take their tests and get their GPAs where you want them to be before they come into Boise State. That's probably the biggest concern. It's not the football part of it. It's just about these guys academically making sure they meet your standards and that you feel they're going to be successful that way on the early signing. So that's kind of where we're at with that. A few other rule changes coming about. You know, one's going to be you're not going to be able to take your team to Rome, like Michigan is, which, if you can, I guess that's a place to go. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to get done, but it'll be interesting to read about it. Coach Harbaugh obviously does a great job of keeping everybody in college football captivated on what's going on. But that'll be a rule that changes in there. There's a possibility there's a 10th assistant as a full-time coach. You got so many support staff, and you know they're limited to what they can do on the field. You know, you have a lot of young coaches, and the GAs can coach, quality control, and other support staff they can't. Well, they still want to coach. Many guys in this profession want to coach. They want to be on the field. They want to be in the action. Well, they can't. And that's obviously hard because they do all the work leading up to it, and they get to go out there and just stand. All right? And technically strongly encourage, all right, is what it says. And they want to coach. So this 10th assistant is going to allow, hopefully, another opportunity for a coach to get out there, which I think is good. Because the more you can have, you know, helping your players actually on the field and doing some of those things, I think makes you better. So those are really some of the bigger changes, unless I'm missing something in there. I think those are some of the biggest ones that are coming about right away. Yeah, Larry?
You may have already said this, but how many did you sign early?
Early, all the guys that came in early were these top guys here.
No, I mean before signing day.
Oh, yeah. So the guys that signed before today?
Right.
Yeah, so it would have been Marcus, these guys up here, Marcus, John, Rathan, Zach, and Michael were the 5 guys that we signed early that are here now. So those 5 guys, you know, where you can sometimes, so with Rippon, when he committed to us, he signed a financial aid contract, and what that does is it allows you to communicate with him, actually see him, all right, which is breaking all the normal rules when you do that. But he's saying, hey, I'm going to graduate early and I'm going to Boise State, done deal. So let's build this relationship. Now, the only problem with that is if he changes his mind, everything you did that was illegal with him under the different circumstances, normal rules, could come back and affect you. So you got to always be careful with that. And so with Brett, I remember I did a visit with him earlier than you could do a visit, and if he'd have changed his mind, then you know that could have been a problem. Okay, so there's some of those as well with some of the guys you know are coming in early. We didn't do that. We just allowed these guys to sign early that we knew were going to come in. We didn't sign them too early. We just signed them when we needed to because we weren't going to go see them or do any of those things. Because you never know. If they do change their minds, you just got to deal with a few little minor violations that you don't want to have to deal with when it's all said and done. But these guys up here, they're the early ones. So, got another one. Bill?
How many are you hoping to sign today?
15.
15.
Yeah. Hoping to sign 15 today. All right. Let's get the slide in there. Okay, linebacker. Roman Confensis.
Leon Rice on that?
What's that?
Leon Rice?
Leon, oh yeah. Yeah, Coach Rice, family friend. Is Andy around out there?
He's on the,
Okay.
he's on the phone.
Coach Rid,
Yeah,
what you talk about Roman here?
Roman's a guy we kind of identified even last spring. He was playing safety, and he got a little bigger, and they moved him down to an outside linebacker, which is where we kind of felt he would fit. And he had a great year. Played at Mater Dei High School, one of the top high schools in the country this year, was a team captain for him, great leader. His dad and his dad's twin brother, his uncle, both played in the NFL for a while. They grew up with Coach Rice back in Washington, so longtime family friends. Roman, another guy that, you know, maybe his recruiting started off a little slow, but in the last couple of weeks, we didn't really have to hold anybody off because he knew he was coming here. But he had a lot of interest, had some teams come in and offer him from some big conferences, and we're really excited about him. He's, like I said, a guy that is a great player, big time hitter. You guys will see his highlights. I mean, he knocks the crap out of people. But even more so than that, his character, his personality really fit in with what we're looking for to be a leader on our defense, and a guy that just continually makes big plays in big games. He's played in a bunch of them at Mater Dei. So really excited about Roman, and especially getting his whole family involved.
How tall is he? How much does he weigh?
He's about 6'2", maybe a hair under, a hair over, right in that range. And right now he's about 195. You know, we think he'll be in the 215, 220-pound range down the road.
Yeah, he's got, he looks like Tanner, but he's a little bit taller Tanner Vallejo. So if you kind of look at him just body-wise, that's kind of what he looks like. Thick neck, put together really well. His dad, so his whole family, did you say that? I'm not sure if you did.
I talked about only 2 of them. There were 5.
Yeah, there's like 5 of his family members that played at Hawaii. All played safety, and his dad played in the NFL. I'm not sure how many years his dad played in the NFL.
5 or 6.
Yeah, so he played for a while. Dad's name is Kurt, fantastic. And so the first time, we had never went sledding ever on a recruiting visit. So his recruiting trip, that was the first time we did it. So we went up there and kind of got through the inversion. Beautiful day up there at Bogus. The sun's out, all right? So the sled hill's a little bit icy and fast, and we all got the fast tubes. And so we're having a great time, and Dad somehow wrecked on the tube, all right? And kind of went down on his head pretty hard. Usher happened to be right behind him, was getting ready to wipe him out. He goes all 10 claws in the ground digging to not hit him, avoids him, and Kurt the rest of the day thought he had a little mild concussion. So we were hearing about the old football days after that. He was giving us advice that we should wear helmets when we go up there. And I told him, well, you're the only one I know of this has ever happened to. So, but a fantastic family. Mom, everybody, you know, when we offered Roman, he was, before he even came up here, he committed to us, came up here, he's in my office, and I kind of do my deal with him again. I'm like, hey, you in? And they're like looking at me, and like, we're already committed. And I told him, like, no, now that you hadn't actually been here. Now that you've been here now, hey, 1,000% done deal, all good, and he was. Hasn't wavered one bit, and we think he's a really good player. Obviously has the background and all that, but he is a stud, and that guy's good looking, big body, coming in here, going to pack some weight on and be a guy that's going to be a good linebacker for us.